Wednesday, May 6th, from the Mason Brown News Studios, deep inside Mason Brown's garage. This is Mason Brown's Week in Review. Our top story, COVID-19 continues to ravage the nation. Last Wednesday, 60,000 Americans had died of the virus, more than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. Yet, Jared Kushner still went on Fox and Friends and said that the government response was, quote, a great success story. You know, like Trump University is a great education, and Michael Jackson was great with kids. Great success story. But don't panic about the virus. Last Wednesday, President Trump said, quote, I see the light at the end of the tunnel very strongly. Which, for those of you too young to remember, was an expression used to describe how the Vietnam War was going. And here's how that war ended. Why would you choose that phrase? Still, according to Mike Pence, President Trump is looking to disband the coronavirus task force by the end of the month and switch towards reopening the economy. Trump acknowledged that this reopening would come at a cost. According to the president, as horrible as that is, you're talking about filling up Yankee Stadium with death. Still, that is less horrible than when Lincoln Financial Field is filled with Eagles fans. On Tuesday, Trump toured the Honeywell mask manufacturing plant while not wearing a mask. I know the masks are hard to find, but this is in fact the mask-making factory. They've got one for you. You know what? Don't wear the mask. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's fine. In keeping with the nation's push to reopen, the U.S. Senate has decided to reconvene. And with the average age of U.S. senators now at almost 63 years old, and the COVID virus being a disease that kills the elderly at a much higher rate than the general population, look for some Senate seats to come open pretty soon. It's like the Earth itself has decided to impose term limits. I'm looking forward to a new heartwarming movie about politics. Mr. Smith Goes to the ICU. Listen, senators, I know you're old, but you could learn how to Zoom. It's not hard. You get 40 minutes for free. Come on, join the Zoom party. Still, you know who thinks that going back to a crowded Senate chamber floor is a good idea? These guys. Faced with threats to the nation's meat supply, Costco is limiting meat purchases to 3 items per person. Customers will still be allowed to purchase as much cauliflower as they can eat. Yippee! The possibility of a nationwide beef shortage has prompted Steve Mnuchin to call for Jay-Z and Nas to resume their rap battles. Now there was some quality beef. Yeah. The coronavirus isn't the only horrible thing to come into the country from Asia recently. Washington State has reported the presence of Asian giant hornets, also known as murder hornets. The murder hornets are 2 inches long, rip the heads off of bees, and have a stinger that's big enough to penetrate a beekeeping suit. Damn. Much like last week, I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. The murder hornets are not to be confused with murder wasps, such as Robert Chambers, the infamous preppy killer from 1986. Killed a woman in the park, strangled her with her bra. Bad man. Experts are unsure how the murder hornets got to the United States, but according to the CDC, their top suspect is that bitch Carol Baskins. If you've ever wondered how painful it is to get stung by a murder hornet, YouTuber Coyote Peterson has done your work for you. He's made it his mission to rate the pain of all the insect stings on Earth. Here he is taking one for the team.
Ah! Oh, this thing stuck in my arm. Oh! Ah! Oh! Oh! Searing pain! Absolute searing pain! Oh!
I see blood.
Ah! Oh my gosh! Ah!
Well, that looked like it hurt a lot. Thanks, Coyote. Would not have guessed that. Country singer Katie Groves has died at the age of 30. Her family requests that fans refrain from speculation as to how. I haven't heard of her, so I'm not a fan, technically. And I'm guessing it was a black magic ritual gone terribly awry. Listen, kids, don't expect mercy when you summon Gothnor the Merciless. A 5-year-old driving his mother's car was pulled over by the police in Ogden, Utah. His mother had refused to buy him a Lamborghini, so the child decided to drive to California to buy one for himself. According to the troopers' reports, the child had $3 in his wallet. What was his mother thinking? I say if he found a Lambo for sale for $3, she's a fool not to let him buy it. That's a good deal. $3 Lambos. Poor parenting, I say. New White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany gave her first press conference on Friday, stating, quote, "I will never lie to you. You have my word on that." Which is pretty much exactly what a liar would say. She later told Chris Cuomo that the president has never lied.
What?
So, there's lie number one for Kayleigh McEnany. Hafthor Bjornsson, who plays the Mountain on Game of Thrones, has set a new world record by deadlifting 501 kilos. Now, to put it into terms that U.S. citizens can understand, that's the equivalent of lifting about 6 coronavirus corpses all at the same time. Now that's some deadlifting. And finally, there's certainly been a lot of bad news recently, so that's why I've decided to close the show with a little segment I call Mason Brown's Good News Corner. It's where we focus on the good things that are going on in the world. And for our very first bit of good news, you see those attractive nurses in the picture? Well, I'm fucking all of them after the show. And that's Mason Brown's Good News Corner. Woo! In fact, that's the show. For Mason Brown, I'm Mason Brown saying, stay safe, America. Don't die.